Iron Lords podcast. And we are live. Iron Lord podcast, lordsofgaming.net. And who is this special gentleman that we have in the realm? A man of rank.
Yes, of the Gameranx variety. Yeah, what's up? How you doing? I'm Jake Baldino, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm glad you guys were able to take the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
We really appreciate that you take the time to talk to us. Definitely one of the bigger YouTube personalities in the game. Lord Sonaldo also was making me very aware of your content as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So let's get right into it. As far as your YouTube journey, you getting started, you know what I mean? Let's chart that whole progress and tell people, to the world who don't know you, about your channel.
We started in, I feel like we started how we should. We started in the basement. And it was me, actually, I think my first PAX East was 2012. I had just checked, yeah. Wow. So I had been coming and grinding and trying to make things happen, and eventually I got a gig with Gameranx, which was just a website at the time. And they were like, you know, everybody's going to video, so we got to get video out there. So they just threw me a couple bucks to start making videos. I was still going to college. I was still working at a grocery store, but I just wanted to break in. So I was like, yeah, I'll take any gig. It's paying. Like, it's just a little bit, but hey. So they gave me a blank YouTube channel, and they said, all right, you know, like how our website works, so try and just kind of keep the content in line with that. And we developed a strategy and just kind of grinded out and just went from there. So what I think, the elevator pitch at Gameranx, I think, is top 10 channel. You come for the top 10s, you click on the top 10s and stuff like that, the attractive stuff, but you stay for the personality. Like, you click on it and it's like, hey, it's a top 10 PlayStation games, but you hear real people. You know, we do a lot of ad-libbing. We don't do like 100% scripts.
Scripted, okay.
Yeah, we wanted to like keep it like, all right, cool, like the content that worked for the website, but we actually wanted, you know, we wanted to just be cool, you know, because I had actually started as a like a movie and commentary YouTuber during probably like the last couple of years of high school with a friend. So I had kind of started to like learn the environment, learn what works, what doesn't work, and tried to translate it to gaming. And so far, so good. Nice,
man. So great foundation, kind of like grinding from the bottom. So like, what advice would you give a lot of starting YouTubers or people getting in the game from a content creation standpoint? What are some of the things you may have learned during your experience in your journey?
I think the first thing is coming here. Doing this like 100%, like even if you have $5 to your name, like I would come and I would buy a box of cereal, and that's all I would have.
Oh, this man was grinding.
Yeah, you have to, you know. And it was like exactly ramen noodles like every day. Yeah, and it was so it was that, and then like eventually working up to E3. So it's like you kind of have to level yourself up through the events and put yourself out there even if you're nervous.
So hitting the groundwork, hitting the shows, going out there. This is good advice.
Meeting people, talking to people. Also just being on social media. You have to. I would always say, like earlier days of Twitter, I'd say if you don't have a Twitter, get one, because you can at least have your ear to the ground. You don't have to be like viral and popular, but you have to have an idea of what's going on. You have to know about job postings. You have to know about what people are doing, how people are working, stuff like that. And also on the YouTube side, just consistency.
Yes.
Learn SEO, learn algorithms, and just learn what people click on, and learn how to entertain people. But just kind of keep feeding the beast. Always keep uploading, always keeping people satisfied. That's really the main thing.
Awesome. What questions you got for
what would you say was like the thing that ended up making you kind of like boom, like propel yourself forward?
What was the moment?
What was that one thing that kind of like put that in your mind?
Yeah, that was a good question. No one's ever asked me that. You know what it was? Fallout 4.
Whoa.
Fallout 4 was like the viral game for us, where we did like 1 or 2 videos on it, and they kept blowing up, and we're like, we gotta keep making Fallout videos. These people want Fallout videos. Just keep throwing them out. So we came up with every idea we could, and those kind of were able to bring us to the next level of, you know, like beefing up a little bit, putting a little more money into it.
So you have a team that you kind of work with on the channel itself. How many of those people kind of work with you?
We're kind of split up, but I have 2 guys with me in an office, and then we have 3 other people remotely throughout the world, basically.
So, I'm sorry.
No, and it's just like everybody does a little bit of everything. You know, we all do some writing, some ideas, some editing, some capturing, stuff like that.
Awesome.
You know, we're trying to get more people like on the camera, because you know, I want to retire.
He's looking for a successor, y'all. Looking for a successor. I'm just saying.
So your team that you guys kind of just sit down and just spitball ideas. Like, how do you think of ideas to keep with the going trends, because like when it comes to gaming and coming to like streaming and coming to like people producing content as content creators, you kind of have to evolve your channels as the games change.
Yes.
Because not only do people sit in one game and seeing those genres, how does it kind of go into one to another?
I think what we've tried to do is keep people like listening, essentially. What are people yelling about on Twitter? What are the big things going on Reddit? Like what are people responding to the most? Even we'll go as far as to look on YouTube and say, all right, what new game trailers are getting the most views? Like where is there the most interest? And then we pretty much go from there. The biggest thing that we've been struggling with is exactly what you said, like people playing games evolving over time. We're straight up still trying to figure out a game plan for that, because we put out a review on Sea of Thieves, we put out a review on Rainbow Six Siege, and they weren't that hot at first, but now they're fantastic. So we're trying to figure out how the best ways are to revisit that, get that out to people in different ways, because streamers are killing it in that regard. There's like an entire community of Sea of Thieves, there's entire communities of Siege, and we kind of want to get on that. That's honestly, I'm gonna go home and think about that.
That's a good question. I guess for me, it's like what specific. I know sometimes there's that balance, right, where it's like you have to do what Petey was saying in terms of what the community is looking for, the type of trends that are kind of happening, versus sometimes your own personal battle, maybe of things that you really enjoy doing, but they may not hit. So like, how do you balance that as a content creator?
We basically kind of go until we're stressed out, and then we kind of settle back down and say, all right, let's write about Tony Hawk. Like, we know not a lot of people are going to watch Tony Hawk's Pro Skater videos, but like, let's make one anyway. That and just. Yeah, that's really it. Okay. That's it. It's just every once in a while when we're jammed up, find a little pent up, we're like, all right, let's pump the brakes. The biggest thing, though, the biggest fight is not feeding the negativity machine. I always joke, but I'm like, we would all be gazillionaires if all we did was the negative all day. Nice. You have to, obviously fight for the consumer. That's like a big part of our, what we talk about. But when you focus on it all the time, it's like you're lost. It's like the Jedi are lost. It's like, that's exactly what it is.
You don't want to go to the dark side of the Force, exactly. Is what he's saying, y'all.
So then what would you say that then keeps you like genuine, kind of keeps you grounded? Because that's something that, for us, like that's something that we try to keep the Iron Lords podcast channel genuine. We kind of keep ourselves grounded, and for us that's like each other. Like we kind of keep each other in check. What would you say that you and your team does to keep each other kind of like grounded in check?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think for us it's just being very with the audience, being in the comments, as much as comments can be rough sometimes. Like, we like being held 100% accountable. That, and also just not getting too big for our, what did I say, big for our britches? We didn't buy a building, we don't have a massive staff, anything like that, because we like everyone to be in the same room or in the same Skype or in the same Discord, and just all being friends, all being accountable to one another, and that's really what kind of has worked for us. So we don't want to we don't want to change that.
We don't get too corporate. Exactly. This is awesome, man. Again, just hearing about your journey and just again where you guys have evolved from is pretty impressive. And then you guys are still doing what you're doing. You're growing, more content's coming. This is big stuff, man.
Yeah, it's scary. We hit the 5 million subscriber mark, and I guess the next milestone is 10 million subscribers, but that's so far away. So it's like, all right, what do we do now? Like, how do we focus on a goal that just seems so massive, so insurmountable? Because at the end of the day, we operate like an outlet. We're not PewDiePie, we're not one dude.
Right.
So we're curious to see how far we can actually push it. That's what we're trying to figure out now.
How did you feel like when you started? Your channel kind of evolved and kind of like boomed, and you hit that. What's the first marker? Like 100,000 subscribers, and then you get that award in the mail. Like, how did you feel?
When you get the plaque.
Yeah, when you get the plaque. How did you feel when that kind of came in? It kind of like make you feel like this is worth it. This is something that I can actually do.
That's exactly what it was, and it was also, for me, I started traditionally, like I was writing for blogs. I wanted to be a game journalist until I realized that I got bored of writing. I wasn't very good at writing, but I had aspired to, getting to play a game early, getting to review that game. Nice. So for me, it was like, what was it? I think it was like Saints Row 3 That was like the first review copy that showed up on my doorstep, and I was like, I've made it.
Of course.
I am a powerful game journalist. That's it.
It's that you just nailed it. It's like that first review code. It's something about it that, again, based on your hard work and you were getting that acquisition of that software, and then being able to write about it, being able to comment on it. It's a good feeling, you know.
It's also too. It's almost someone in the industry kind of taking a chance on you, you know, especially when it's your first thing.
Yes.
It's like that person has a connection to you through text, email, you meet them at PAX, and they're willing to say, all right, I'm going to send this kid a review copy. And then for a lot of people I've seen, all it takes is them to get early access to one game, and they grind it out and do a bunch of videos and put out the information that people want, and then, you know, they go up from there.
How did you when you were starting, like you said, and you were kind of growing over time, like how was your mental state? Because like for myself, well, having a smaller channel and producing, you know, some growth over time, like your mental state, like how did you keep yourself like I want to keep on this, I want to keep going,
even when things were maybe not popping, you weren't getting that maybe progression that you were hoping for in the beginning.
I hate to say it. I know I said like negativity is the, you know, don't go to the dark side, but I had a chip on my shoulder. You know, I had something to prove. I wasn't happy with going to college, not knowing what I wanted to do. I wasn't happy with my part-time job. I wasn't happy with, you know, like even like my parents. They didn't get it. I wanted to show them. I wanted to show my friends. But I had
like, what's this YouTube? This gaming stuff.
Oh man, I still every explanation.
And now she look at the check and she ain't nothing no more.
But like you guys have to explain it to people though, and they're like, oh, so you guys make the games, and you're like, oh no, we don't make the games. We're not that smart. They're like, oh, so what do you do? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it to someone who's
it's that disconnect. They don't understand.
It's hard, but it's fun. It's still something I never take for granted to even be to say that we do this. You know.
Again.
Oh, sorry. So how did your family feel when you kind of like showed them, hey, I could do this. Like we're pushing. We're good.
Yeah. When did they believe?
Yeah. How did they feel? How was it like their mindset change on it?
My dad is the one who is a bit more stone cold, and then when the first check showed up, he was like, oh, okay, let me help you. And he was able to kind of guide me from there, and that was cool. My mom, I still have to explain it.
Shout out to mom. Shout out to mom. That's what's up, man. This is again, just to hear these stories, to hear this, it really gives guys like us confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because again, hearing someone from the grassroots, from the grind, you know, hitting these shows, like you were saying earlier, you know, doing these events, having that passion, and then sticking with it, even during the low times. This is really inspirational stuff, man. So it's good to see, you know, one of us come up from the ranks, so to speak. You know, but any other questions with the Lord of Gameranx before we wrap up?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, look, you heard it here first. This guy's story is amazing. The channel is amazing. Continue on with your journey. Absolute pleasure to have you in the realm of the Lords, the legendary Gameranx here in the realm, my man.
Thank you.
Lords of Gaming Outlaw Podcast, sign it out.